Good evening, children of the fog. It's your host, Resident Lynx, the man who willingly walks into haunted mansions so you don't have to. And tonight, we're returning to the place where survival horror clawed itself out of the darkness and said, hey, let's traumatize a whole generation of gamers. This isn't just a video. This is a seance. A deep dive into the rotten heart of Resident Evil 1996. A place where your bullets matter, your footsteps echo a second too long, and your character turns with the grace of a forklift on wet pavement. Thunder rolls. The screen flickers like a corrupted VHS. You might want to grab some snacks, preferably something less bloody than the stuff we're about to see. Chapter 1. The opening that said, Abandon Hope. The 90s intro is legendary, not because it's polished, but because it looks like a group of horror-loving interns filmed it during their lunch break. The sky is dark, thick with fog, not atmospheric fog from Hollywood, but the kind of fog that looks like it was generated by a $20 smoke machine from Spirit Halloween. Alpha Team moves through the woods like they're trying not to ruin their shoes. The wind howls, dead leaves crunch. Everything looks like a budget creepypasta. Then Joseph finds that corpse, pale, mangled, looking like a dropped lasagna, and immediately pays the price for being nosy. Resident Lynx commentary. If I see a body in the woods, I'm turning around, calling my Uber, and writing a Yelp review about the forest. These people, they're like, let's examine this. Then bam, zombie dogs burst in like furry missiles. They launch at the camera like they've been waiting all day for this moment. The team breaks into a sprint that would make track and field coaches cry tears of pride. Jill's hair blows dramatically, Chris yells dramatically, Barry breathes dramatically. Wesker is Wesker. When they reach the mansion, it towers above them like a massive gothic warning sign. Enter and die horribly. The doors slam shut behind them with the force of an ancient god saying, "You're mine now." Chapter 2. The first zombie, now with more uncanny detail. The first zombie scene gets the deluxe fluff treatment. You walk down that hallway, dim, narrow, lit like someone forgot to pay the electric bill. There's a crimson carpet so faded it looks like it's given up. Then you see him, hunched, gaunt, chewing on Kenneth like he's a microwave buffet entree. The zombie's skin is a pale, sickly gray, the shade of someone who's been powered by batteries for weeks. It turns its head slowly, bones cracking like old wood, eyes clouded and hollow, face dripping with soup of the day. Resident Lynx. He looks like me after editing videos for 48 hours straight. Your gun shakes. You fire, you miss. You fire again, and you still miss. You fire a third time and finally land a hit, only to realize you have literally 5 bullets left and no idea how to reload. It's survival horror baptism by fire. Chapter 3. Tank Controls. The Grim Ballet of Pain. Resident Evil's movement system deserves its own documentary. Turning is slow. Backing up is awkward, running feels like trying to sprint while balancing a stack of pizza boxes. The fixed camera angles are positioned like a stalker, filming you from the ceiling fan. They hide enemies in convenient little blind spots just to make you scream. You might hear a moan, a shuffle, a distant growl, but you won't see anything until it's breathing down your neck. Resident Lynx, you're not navigating a mansion. You're performing a funeral waltz choreographed by sadists. Chapter 4. Inventory Management, the True Horror. The inventory system is where the game really says, let's see how much the player can suffer before uninstalling. You get only a few precious slots, all of which fill faster than a free food line. You pick up a key? Congratulations, that's 1 slot gone. A herb? 2 gone. A shotgun? Your entire life is now pain. Ink ribbons, the single greatest act of violence against gamers, are rationed like wartime food supplies. Saving becomes a strategic spiritual decision. Resident Lynx. I've seen people plan weddings with less thought than deciding when to save in Resident Evil. Every trip to a safe room feels like entering a church. The music is soft, sad, tender, like the mansion is apologizing for trying to kill you 48 times. Chapter 5. Monsters with too much energy. Zombies. They shuffle like they're late for work, arms outstretched, complaining about their undead taxes. Dogs. They burst through windows with the enthusiasm of Labrador retrievers who've just learned parkour. Hunters. Clicking claws, deep growls, jump scares so powerful they reset your nasal passages. Sharks. Giant, fast, angry, a water hazard modeled after everyone's worst childhood fear. The Tyrant. 7 feet tall, muscles sculpted by nightmares, heart exposed like he's flexing for an anatomy textbook. Each enemy type has the same general goal: ruin your day. Chapter 6. Jill versus Chris. Jill Valentine is the queen of convenience. More space, more tools, better weapons. She is the protagonist gaming wants. Chris Redfield is, well, built different. Resident Lynx. Chris's inventory is so small he's basically role-playing as a minimalist. Jill's campaign feels like a guided tour. Chris's campaign feels like a punishment for crimes you didn't commit. Chapter 7. The voice acting that blocks out the sun. The dialogue is wooden, stiff, bizarrely polite considering everyone is dying. Barry speaks like he's reading cue cards off a teleprompter that's currently on fire.
Find anything, Jill?
Nothing. What is this all about? I can't figure it out at all.
It's me, too.
Now it's Wesker's time to disappear. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it can't be helped. Let's search for him separately. I'll check the dining room again.
Okay, I'll try the door on the opposite side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could get into trouble if we get lost. We should start from the first floor, okay? And Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Wesker delivers lines with the emotional range of a toaster. Every conversation feels like an uncomfortable workplace meeting held in a burning building. Chapter 8. Puzzles, now with more "Why is this here?" Skull mask coffins, trap-filled hallways, key-shaped keys that would make locksmiths cry, a giant snake hiding in the attic like a family secret. Resident Lynx. The mansion has the floor plan of a house designed by someone who hates humans. Chapter 9. Umbrella's Lab, where bad ideas go to thrive. You descend into the lab, which looks like the back rooms of a morally questionable science fair. Broken glass, flickering lights, dead scientists who didn't get the memo that lunch break was over. The Tyrant wakes up like he heard someone mention leg day. The final escape sequence is an explosive marathon where you're sprinting while screaming, "Why are there still puzzles?" Chapter 10. Legacy. Resident Evil didn't just make a genre, it made a culture. Speedrunning, memes, cosplay, entire YouTube channels dedicated to explaining why the mansion keeps breaking. Without Resident Evil, video games today would be much less scared and much less hilarious. Chapter 11. The feel never fades. Booting up the PS1 version today feels like opening a cursed artifact from a thrift store. The grainy textures, the eerie silence, the doors opening one frame at a time. It still sends chills. It still has weight. It still feels dangerous. Outro, Resident Lynx, now with even more fluff. Thank you for wandering the mansion with me, friends. If you enjoyed this journey through undead chaos, smash that like button harder than a hunter smashing your neck. Subscribe for more deep dives, more horror, more nostalgia, and more reasons to fear your old PlayStation memory cards. And remember, if someone offers you sandwiches in a mansion full of zombies, run.